Welcome back to another episode of the Revolutionary Girl Utena. So, in the previous one, we had my favorite episode by far so far, and it was also a very heavy episode, very different episode from all of the rest so far. It definitely felt a lot heavier and kind of showed, I feel like, what's happening under the hood of the show in a sense, because up until this point, especially with Utena as a character, we've been seeing kind of like a light-hearted version or a retelling of her backstory, even though it is a tragic backstory, right? It was shown in a kind of fairy tale-esque way, but then in the previous episode, we kind of saw a very realistic and dark portrayal of that entire scene there, that entire backstory, with obviously Touga and Sionji, when they were younger, they found Utena. They saw the actual funeral happening, right? The funeral of Utena's parents, and they found her there, her also wanting to go with her parents, right? Wanting to die as well in that moment. And it was actually, at least from the previous episode, it seemed like it was Touga who was the one extending a hand and showing her something eternal in the form of a ring and in a form of a, you know, kind of like a dream and a promise and a goal and stuff like that. Kind of gave her a motivation to go on. Or at least that's what it seemed like in the previous episode. You guys did say that, you know, it's gonna get clearer and clearer as we watch, so that's fine. But yeah, that's what it seemed like in the previous episode. And it was really cool seeing Sionji also, the way that he was acting, trying to, you know, I saw a comment speaking about Tsuwabuki and stuff like that, and now I was just about to say, it kind of reminds me, Sionji reminds me of kind of like Tsuwabuki, how Tsuwabuki saw Touga and wanted to imitate him. In the same way here, Sionji was trying to imitate Touga in a way. So it feels like Touga just has that main character energy where he makes people want to, you know, become him or be more like him and imitate him and follow him in a way. So it's really interesting. But yeah, as I said, it was a pretty heavy retelling of the entire backstory, and then at the end we also had kind of like a parallel of Anshi being in a coffin and stuff like that, and then it was Utena who ended up saving her, even though Sionji wanted to be the one to get Anshi out of there, wanted to do the same for Anshi that seemingly Touga or the prince did for Utena, right? Which, once again, I feel like Sionji's obsession is, it's really, really, it feels bad, because even if, like, he got to the point at this point, and he was always like this from what we've seen, but he got to the point where he would be willing to depend on the savior complex to get Anshi to like him. Because even previously, he was willing to get a duel to get Anshi basically forcefully bound to him. And now he's even willing to get this savior complex to kick in, which is, once again, kind of like a bit of an, if you're taking advantage of it, it's a bit of an unethical situation, right? So it's really interesting. Obviously, we know that he's long forgone like normal ethical boundaries, I guess, and he's gone into full-on obsession with Anshi. So yeah, it's really interesting to see how far he'll go to make Anshi his. Even though it does seem like he genuinely does really just like her, but yeah, he is obsessed with her a lot. But then at the very end of the episode, Sionji was going to cut down Utena, right? But it was, of course, Touga who got in front of Anshi and saved her. But we found out that it was him actually staging it and willing to take that entire injury for the sake of looking like a savior to Utena, right? And kind of like superimposing himself as the prince that Utena has in her mind, right? Kind of always saying, hey, I'm like your prince, am I not? I'm like your prince, right? Kind of like hinting and superimposing himself into her fantasy, into Utena's fantasy and stuff like that. So, very interesting stuff happening. I don't know what's gonna come of that. I don't know what's gonna actually happen, but yeah, let's find out. So, if you wanna watch this, Uncut and Blood as always on my Patreon down description, and let's go into the Revolutionary Girl Utena, episode 10. Mmm.
世界の果ての許可もなく、バラの花嫁欲しさに人を繰り広げるなんて。アレンジにも程がある。いつかやるんじゃないかとは思っていましたけど、本当にやっちゃうところが彼らしいというかなんというか。所詮奴は生徒会のピエロだったのさ。君の退学処分、一刻も早く取り消してもらうよう努力するよ。この上、面倒かけて悪いんだが。
What happened to his arm? I thought it was just his bag.
わかった。俺が責任持って渡しておくよ。すまない。最後まで迷惑をかけて。気にするなよ。俺たちは親友だろ。
Yep. Nanami's precious thing. Are we actually having a Nanami episode after the previous one? Are we keeping up the tradition of 1-1? One episode, one Nanami episode, one serious one?
卵の殻を破らねば、ひな鳥は生まれずに死んでゆく。我らがひなだ。卵は世界だ。世界の殻を破らねば、我らは生まれずに死んでゆく。世界の殻を破壊せよ。世界を革命するために。世界の果てから新たな手紙が届いた。決闘の日は近い。
And his arm is okay, of course. He had to keep up the appearances.
僕が代わりにお前にウテナは無理だ。私が行こう。今度こそ天井ウテナを倒してみせる。僕が行きます。ジュリさんこそ引っ込んでいてください。何？
セクな、二人とも。デュエリストはまだいる。
そんなバカな。私たちやウテナの他にもまだ世界の果てから選ばれし者が決闘の資格を持つ者がいるというのか。あんたのせいでお兄様が怪我したのよ。あんたのせいで。なんとか言ったらどうなの。どうしてあんたなんかのためにお兄様
Ah, if only she knew. If only she knew that it was Touga's plan all along.
もっとしっかりしていればこんなことには。
Poor Utena, she's gonna blame herself as well.
ふざけるんじゃないわよ。謝ったってお兄様の傷は治らないのよ。
ナナミ、
And you can't even blame Nanami for this one here. Because this is how it would seem from the outside.
騒ぎ立てるほどの傷じゃない。それに、レディの危機を救うのはナイトの務めだ。
生徒会長。
君が無事なら、こっちはそれで満足だ。
許さない。私は絶対許さないから。
気にすることはないさ。ナナミもきっと気が動転しているんだ。君のせいじゃないってことぐらい、あいつも分かっているよ。
She's kind of venting, yeah.
やはり女の子は王子様にはなれないのでしょうか。どうしたんですか？元気ないですね。落ち込みたくもなるさ。僕をかばったせいで生徒会長は怪我をしたんだから。体の具合は大丈夫かしら。それは僕も心配なんだ。やっぱりちゃんとお見舞い行った方がいいよね。まだ助けてもらったお礼も言っていないし。そうだ、もしかしてお腹空いてません？ありがとう。でも今はあんまりかき氷食べたい気分じゃないんだけど。どういうことなの？ねえ、何にしましょうか。この子の名前。すると、さっきの話は。ウテナ様。
And that was shown in such a funny way.
行かれるんでしょ？お見舞い。姫宮、花を贈られて嫌な気分になる人はまずいませんから。ありがとう。
トーガ様、お誕生日おめでとうございます。おめでとうございます。
お兄様。お誕生日おめでとうございます。なんですナナミ、その格好。お兄様にこれ。汚らしい。早く捨ててきなさい。でもママ。
パパに渡しなさい。
いやー。
待ってください。ありがとう、ナナミ。最高のプレゼントだよ。
お兄様はいつも優しく私を包んで
うーん。
お兄様の笑顔は私だけのものだったの。いけません、お兄様。傷に触ります。
大丈夫。体を動かしていないとなまってしまうのでね。
今無理をするとまた悪くなってしまいます。やめてください。
おい、そこまでしなくても。
やめてください。お兄様にもしものことがあったら、ナナミは。
お前の兄にはもしものことなどない。そうだろう。
キスはしてくださらないのですか？
するはずないよ。子供じゃあるまいし。びっくりしただろ。さあ、
うーん。
しろ。おやすみ、ナナミ。
He's a cool character. If only he wasn't such a manipulator as well.
生徒会長欠席してるんですか？
I would really like him otherwise.
するって連絡があったみたいよ。あ、そうですか。でもパーティーなら会えるんじゃない？パーティー？今夜生徒会長の家であるのよ。授業はサボってもそっちには顔出すんじゃないかな。誕生日おめ
Hmm.
でとうございます、トーガ様。これ私たち二人からの。パーティーって誕生パーティーだったのか。知りませんでしたか？知ってたの？はい。そろそろ教えてくれてもいいだろう。誰なんだ、次のデュエリストというのは。
おいおい。今日は俺の誕生パーティーなんだ。せっかくの楽しい時間に世界の果ての話なんてしなくてもいいだろう。
決闘の期日は明日の夜だ。
Tomorrow night.
しろ。舞台が整ってる。いやー、よく来てくれたね。それは？
勘違いしないでくれよ。
Yeah, the tsundere energy.
僕のはお見舞いだからね。まだ助けてもらったお礼してなかったから。
Hmm. Your plan is working, Touga, it seems.
何がおかしいんだよ。
いや、しっけ、断りを入れるところが君らしいと思ってね。
バカにしてるね。
いや、君が来てくれただけで。
Self-aware. I like that.
どういう意味？
Nanami?
なんて浅ましい女。こんなものでお兄様をたぶらかすおつもり？
ナナミ、もうよせよ。
お兄様もお兄様です。こいつはお兄様を傷つけたのよ。違う、あれは。ウテナ様をいじめないでください。あれはすべて西園寺先輩が。おだまり。はといえばあんたが。やめろ。何するんだ。絶対渡さない。あんたなんかにお兄様は絶対渡さない。
Oh!
違う。僕は別に生徒会長のことなんか。
Oh, he's loving it. He is loving it. Actually, I'm gonna talk at the end. I was gonna pause here. I'm gonna talk at the end of the episode. It can wait. His plan is working out. He did plan this all out. His savior tactic is working out.
俺が甘やかしたせいかな。自分で言うのもなんだけど、ナナミはお兄ちゃん子なところがあってね。
世界で一番の兄貴のせいで他の男は全員ダボハゼ同然。
ミキか。
さあ、
おしゃべりなやつだ。
Hmm.
あれはやっぱり俺の誕生パーティーの時だ。ナナミのやつ、自分はプレゼントするものがないからって子猫を見つけてきてね。
子猫？
子猫はいつの の間にかいなくなってしまったけれど、あれが一番
うーん。
さっき私飛び出てしまって。
こら、よせよこいつ。
猫はお嫌いですか？
いや、ありがとう。最高のプレゼントだよ。あっち行ってろよ。
お兄様、リンゴ取るの手伝って。
後でね。
のなみ手が届かないよ。
Oh.
うるさい
Oh.
な。今この子と遊んでるんだ。
ダメ。
よせよ。ふざけてるだけだろ。
だって
あっち行ってろよ。
あんたが悪いんだよ。私とお兄様の邪魔するから。お兄様はななみだけのものなんだから。やめるんだ、ななみくん。自分が何をしているのか分かっているのか。逃げたりしないでしょうね、店長さん。騒ぎになれば君だって西園寺みたいに退学にされてしまうんだぞ。構わないわ。
学園には学園のルールが。ななみ、左手を出せ。
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was gonna be her that was gonna duel.
お兄様。
忘れたか、ななみ。バラの刻印は学園で決闘を許されし者の唯一の証。世界の果てから選ばれしお前の力、見せてみろ。
He's gassing her up. I feel like he's planning on her to lose and to kind of like
明日の夜、広場でこの決闘受けてもらえるね。
almost like crush Nanami in a way. I feel like that's Touga's plan. I could be wrong though.
なんてお名前つけようかしら。マなんかどうかしら。そんな平凡すぎるわ。もっと変わった名前ないのかしら。変わった玉。にゃ、そうじゃなくて、もっとセンスのいい名前ないかしら。センスのいい変わった玉。だから違うわよ。もっとこう、可愛らしくって覚えやすい、品のある名前ないかしら。可愛らしくて覚えやすい、品のあるセンスのいい変わった玉。もうわかった。そんなに玉がいいんなら玉でいいわよ。おいで、ジュリアーノ。もう可愛い名前でなくてもいいってば。
Interesting. Pop. Oh, we're getting the opening song. The opening to the duel.
勝負よ、店長ウテナ。気高き城のバラよ。 私に眠るリオスの力よ。主に答え、今こそ示せ。世界を革命する力を。甘く見ないこと。私は言わない。13年間ずーっとお兄様だけを見つめてきたのよ。
Here we go again. Battle of motivations, battle of ideologies.
剣の道のことも。いわば私の武術はお兄様の武術。この指輪だって私の王子様からもらったものだもの。王子様は私を勝利に導こうとしてるのよ。そんなことはない。
Ooh! Wow, yep.
勝負あったね。勝負はこれからよ。
Hmm.
いけます、ナナミさん。ルールは胸のバラを散らされたら負けです。知らないわ、そんなこと。
She doesn't play by the rules. She never has.
やめるんだ、ナナミ。こんな戦い意味がない。
そこまで。
But when Touga says it, yep. Touga's words are the only rules for her. Yep, I knew it.
私とお兄様に邪魔するか。
Oh, I have many things to say at the end of the episode. Black Crow as well.
ナナミ。勝つはお兄様。ナナミはまだ負けてなんかいません。
バカなやつ。ナナミ、もうお前が戦う必要なんてないんだ。お前は俺が守ってやる。
Does he just want to be seen as the savior by the entire world? Or what's happening with everyone around him? It feels like he's trying to be seen as the best guy to ever exist. And succeeding at it as well.
たまには愛らしいこともするんだな。
乙女のピンチを黙って見ていられなかった。王子様の差がだね。
Fuck off.
これでデータは揃った。リオスの力、この俺が必ず手に入れてみせる。
Evolution? Wow. So many things I want to say. Wow. Okay. So. Damn. That was. Man. Touga's good. Touga's good. You can't say anything about that. Like, he's good. It definitely feels like he has this entire plan laid out. He knows how to manipulate people down to a T. He knows how to make himself appear as, you know, the savior, the main character of everyone's life, basically, right? He knows how to make people like him and see him as like this kind of like, you know, yeah, as I said, savior, right? Same with Nanami, same with Sayonji, same with Utena. He's making himself look like the guy, you know? He knows exactly what to say as well. So yeah, he's really good. He's really, really good. When it comes to Nanami, I've been thinking a lot about her during this episode here. So she is, man, you can tell some, like, you can actually empathize with some of the things that she's doing, with some of the things that she's feeling, especially here after the duel, like at the beginning of this episode, right? You can see why she would be kind of like lashing out at Utena and stuff like that, right? It is very much understandable and stuff like that. Even if Utena, even from her perspective, wouldn't be the one to blame, you can see why she would be blaming her, I guess, and also venting out at her. But the one thing that bothers me so much with Nanami is how she always, her first instinct, whenever, you know, something gets in the way between her and Touga, her first instinct is, how do I get rid of this? That's it. That's her first interest. She never for a second seemed to have even thought or, you know, considered the fact that, how does Touga feel about this? How does he feel about this thing that came in between us? She always thinks, okay, this is an obstacle to me. No matter what Touga feels about it, I'm gonna have to get rid of this, right? It's extremely selfish, right? The way that she goes about things. And yeah, that's the thing that bothers me the most about her. Obviously, not counting in the entire thing of her killing a kitten. That is, I feel like that scene is enough to make anyone's blood boil. But the entire, just this one detail, that she never thinks about anything but what is the best and the easiest and most sure way solution for my path to get, you know, to get cleared up for me again. It's to get rid of the obstacle. How do I do it? Well, by any means necessary, right? Who cares about the rules? Who cares about morals? I just need to get rid of the obstacle, and that's it. And yeah, same here. She was gonna get rid of Utena until Touga was like, stop, Nanami, right? So Touga's word is the golden word, so that's the only rule that she lives by. And even then, she never asks of Touga's word. He needs to actually come out and say it. So what a character Nanami is. What a character. God damn. But at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like it is just extremely selfish the way that she lives her life. But I guess that's somehow to be expected. Or I guess you can see how, like, why it happened and stuff like that. So it is what it is. God damn it. What a wild episode. I feel like we're gonna be getting probably a bit less of the comic episodes that we've been getting in the first 10 episodes or so. I feel like, or at least I kind of hope that we're going to be going into, you know, these kinds of episodes, because I really like them. Like, a lot more character-based episodes, a lot more actually exploring some more, you know, maybe heavier themes and stuff, a bit more, I guess, convoluted and themes and stuff like that. It's really cool. I really like it. So yeah, this episode was insane in that respect. So I am excited to see what's gonna happen next. I want to know what exactly Touga is planning. Why? Maybe he is just so narcissistic that he wants to be seen as a savior, not because it would benefit him, but just because he thinks he should be seen that way. Maybe it is just like a narcissistic tendency that he has, or maybe it is actually a plan of his. You know, I want to be seen as a savior by everyone because it's gonna help me achieve X or Y. Maybe that's the plan, or maybe it is just, yeah, as I said, a narcissistic tendency of his. I guess we'll see, right? But for now, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.